Alright, thanks for tuning in. Just made this video. Basically, it is my thoughts. I know I ramble on a bit during this, so I apologize, but my thoughts on how to grow Call of Duty to an esport. From the player's perspective, what we need to do in order for it to have success. Alright, most important thing I can say in this video, the most important piece that we can if we can change, we can improve ourselves as like an esports community and make people take us more seriously. And that is literally, we need to grow the fuck up. There's a reason people say it's a bunch of 12-year-olds playing Call of Duty and that's why nobody can take it seriously. And that's because we act like it. We have top-level players talking shit to each other on Twitter, and there's drama between them with team changes and all that kind of stuff, and dropping players randomly, not letting them know. And I mean, granted, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that can like piss you off when you're at like the top level or whatever. Yeah, that's cool, I understand. But the thing is, the place for that isn't Twitter, isn't Facebook, isn't game battles. That's literally between you and that person. Nobody needs to know your shit. The reason being, look at the NFL for example. 98 or so % of the time, you don't see NFL players tweeting about, man, I got a fucking problem with Randy Moss, man, he an asshole. Like, you don't see that shit. And they keep to themselves, and people don't think about that. What they think about is they think about the players playing the sports, not the players being bitches outside of the sport. And that's why they take the sport seriously. That's why they take the players seriously. Because they have something called professionalism. That is something that even the people who consider themselves professionals in our community don't have. They don't have professionalism. I mean, some of them do. Like, I will give an immense amount of props to Optic, and I've always kind of had a hard-on for Envious. There's other teams out there, though, that between their unprofessional way of handling team changes, handling communications over the internet, I mean, even how some of the AM players, which, by the way, I love that term, even how some of them just conduct their gameplay. Like, I legit don't even want to play with them, and if I don't want to play with them, like, I can't imagine anybody wanting to watch them, you know what I mean? But back to the point is that, like, we need to grow up. The fact that there shouldn't be drama between players. We need to prove that we can be taken seriously as a community, as players of a competitive game. Otherwise, nobody is going to pick us up. There's not going to be sponsors interested, and if there's no sponsors interested in the players, it's going to be like players are going to lose interest. And if players lose interest, then like the competitive scene dies. Like, look at MLG for example. If they want to play or have Call of Duty on the pro circuit, they need people to pay for them to have the setups. Like, they need to pay Microsoft. Like, if they say they play it on Xbox, they're going to need to pay Microsoft for advertising that they're playing it on Xbox. They're going to need to pay them for even using the damn Xboxes. And where do they get that money? They get that money from sponsors. And the sponsors are going to look like, okay, do we want to pay MLG to run this game? What's in it for us? Where's the return on investment? They're going to look at, okay, who all is going to watch people play Call of Duty? Who's going to see our advertisements? Who's going to see that they're using our products and want to go ahead and use them to want to support us for supporting them? And but they're also going to, at the same time, they're going to look at, like, hey, what are we supporting? Like, are we supporting a bunch of fucking 12-year-olds, like, twiddling their thumbs and calling each other faggots and, like, BMing and raging super hardcore? Or are we supporting, like, a group of, like, dignified people who are really good at a game, who can draw in viewers, who can entertain viewers? And that's a huge thing, too. So, and literally, if we don't act professional, we're never going to be professional. We're never going to be taken seriously. Sponsors aren't going to want to pay companies to run tournaments. If there's no sponsors paying companies to run tournaments, there's no tournaments for us to play in. If there's no tournaments for us to play in, there's no output for like our time and our skill, and it's like we're just wasting our time. It's like we're not even like there's no point in it. And at that point, we're just playing a game. We're not competing in an esport. And it's super easy. Like literally, we just have to be professional. And something too, like rather than venting out all of your like anger through the video game, through this game, maybe use it as like a positive output for stuff. Like, hey, like help fellow players. Like if someone in the game is doing like really bad on your team, maybe like ask them like, bro, what are you doing? Like, you're getting kind of shit on here. Like, what gun are you using, man? Like, are you using stuns a lot? Like, are you using your grenades effectively? Like, I mean, if you're in a public match too, you can be like, hey, I understand there's nothing banned here. Why aren't you, if you're doing bad with just your gun, why aren't you using like claymores or something? Like, anything like that to, and try to make a name for yourself as like, hey, that guy's a competitive player, but he's a nice ass dude, and he's trying to help me out, even like in this casual ass setting. And like that's gonna make us look good too. And then just like always offer valuable insight. Like, if you get into a debate or something, and like this big one that's coming up right now is with like kill streaks in competitive. A lot of the YouTube players think, hey, well, why don't you use kill streaks? Like they're part of the game, and I can respect that. Like I see one side of it as we should be getting better at the entire game, not cutting it down to like bare bones and playing our weird ass version of it, but like actually playing the game that the company's developing. That's what people do with StarCraft, League of Legends, Quake Live, all that kind of stuff. I mean, the issue with those is that out of the box they play nicely. You don't have to ban anything. But I see it on the other side too, having been a competitive player for such a long time, where like kill streaks is like, hey, I don't think that we should have them in there because, okay, now here's where this valuable insight thing is. I don't say like, hey, kill streaks are fucking dumb, man. They're for noobs. Like, nobody's gonna respect that opinion. Like if you say, hey, I don't like having kill streaks in competitive gameplay, because it takes away from the fact that the player is earning every kill they get. Every kill they get is earning them positioning in the map. No, if you get kill streaks, say I just got 5 kills. Okay, well now the fucking game is going to get kills for me. It is going to earn positioning that maybe if I were just running out with a gun that I wouldn't earn myself. And it is the game randomly tilting the match into one team's favor, as opposed to those players earning that positioning, or earning the win necessarily. Like, that's the thing that's nice about Call of Duty, is that we don't have team deathmatch competitively. Because if we had competitive team deathmatch and kill streaks, that would just ruin the game. It would be, I think it would be unplayable. Just because of like the level of camping, like, oh, you get a lucky 3 kills off, okay, there's the UAV. You get a lucky 7 kills off, okay, now there's a big fucking helicopter in the sky that's got 80 times as much life as you flying around, just like bodying anyone who's running outside of the map, as opposed to like you actually running around and earning that yourself. And I understand it's part of the game, but and that's where I'm saying, you know, people gotta have like that valuable insight. Like if someone's like, why don't you have claymores in competitive play? You can't be like, well, because they're fucking stupid and only faggots use them. Like, you literally gotta. My point that I always bring up is like, I should earn my kills. Like, I'm not gonna lay things around to do it for me. And I know there's plenty more arguments, but that's what we gotta do. We gotta have those legitimate arguments, and that makes us look like a more mature community, and it makes us more marketable if we're more professional and mature about what we do. And I want to go back quick and talk about helping players again. Something I want to I think would benefit us more. I want to see some other people doing. I know for sure I'm going to do it when Black Ops 2 comes out. Is like making videos, even showing other players how to be better. Because if you get lower level players seeing these videos of high-level players literally coming down and saying, hey, like, I want to show you how to do this. Like nade spot videos, map strategy videos, stuff like that. All these things, like, they help the lower players want to be better. And when you have people who want to strive to be better, that's when they strive to be competitive. And when they strive to be competitive, hey, they just joined our community. Hey, maybe they'll say, you know what? For the sake of being better, maybe I'll play without claymores. Maybe I'll play without kill streak. Like that, and that's what we need if we want to support our rule set, kind of thing. You look at games like League of Legends and StarCraft. I know they're RTSs. Don't get into that, but like look at for League of Legends, you got Team Solomid's website where they've got guides upon guides upon guides of how to play each of the characters, how to build them perfectly, like what strategies you should do as the player. And a lot of those are written, like, if not all, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a while, are all written by players of the game who want to help other people improve at those. There's a ton of videos on YouTube for like StarCraft, or you've got the Team Liquid's wiki, where they've got videos and text descriptions of how to pull off these builds, even down to like the exact timing in which you should do it. And these are all people helping the lower level players, those Bronze League players, improve. Because by helping those players improve, they're growing their potential pool for people to play against. And that's what we need to do too. Like, I look at all the kids are super bad. Like, you got like a 0.4 kill death ratio in public match. Shit, like, you're bad. I don't want to play with you. Like, what if we could help those kids grow? Help those, sorry, not kids. Help those players grow to the point where they're like an asset to our community. Like, maybe they get really good and can start playing. Like, cool, because we helped them. They're not going to get better by just going like, man, you're bad. I don't want to play with you. Like, backing out of matches there and shit. It's only part in game. I mean, part is like content we produce too. Like maybe some of these people who do all sorts of live streams and stuff. Maybe you find some way to get worse players in there and like your viewers and stuff. Like, hey, I'll do lessons with you or something like that. That is another thing that just gets us respect. And without kind of got to that point before, but without respect, like, we're nothing. Like, nobody is going to pay you to play Call of Duty if nobody respects you. Kind of like you're not going to get paid to play basketball if everybody hates you. Like, I don't know, nobody's going to pay to watch your stand-up comedy if you're not funny. Like, people hate you because you're a dickhead. I don't know. Another quick thing I want to touch on before this over here that we cannot do is call ourselves pro players. I'll link it in the description because it's a really good video. It covers on like a lot of the topics I'm covering from a professional, like industry professional standpoint. Is that we cannot call ourselves pro players. None of us make money playing this year in, year out, day in, day out. Just from being really good at it and being the best. None of us do that. You win 6 MLG tournaments in 2 years, like $20,000. Cool. $20,000 doesn't pay all your bills, the whole time support your hobby. None of that shit. Like, you aren't a pro player. There's not, honestly, in all of esports and all of gaming, there are very, very few pro players. Like, you're not salaried to play Call of Duty or anything. You are a top player. You are better than everyone else. I get that. You are a top player. You are not a pro player. You are not a professional. You don't have companies hitting you up to come work in their offices, live in their places, because you are some professional. You are a top player. And I'm not going to touch too much more on this. Literally just watch the video in the description and you'll see like what these people think about it. Like, it's literally, I don't know if I said it already, but it's Sundance is in there for a portion of it, but by this point it is Sir Scoots, the CEO of, or the owner of Evil Geniuses, which is one of the top computer esport sponsors in the world, and computer esports are all that really matter at this point, sadly enough. And the owner of Check 6 Gaming, or the CEO of that, they used to actually have a CoD team too, so they're relevant. And they're talking about wanting to pick up CoD teams, but that's a big argument they bring up, is the fact that we're all calling ourselves pros, which makes us hard to take seriously because we're not pros, and some of us think that we are, and that kind of like ruins it for everybody. But literally, guys, just top players. And okay, I'm gonna wrap this up here quick, but seriously, if you can only take a couple things out of this video, there is not much we need to do to make ourselves more marketable, to make Call of Duty a legitimate esport. And it all starts with, one, growing up. There shouldn't be like drama between teams and players and stuff. Trash talk's fine, but drama isn't. Doesn't make us any more interesting. We need to act more professional, and we need to help lower level players out, because when we do that, that makes them want to be a higher level player when they get better, and it gives them something to strive towards. And when those lower level players become high level players, that is more people that we have to play against and be competitive with, and that only improves the community. And as with growing up, we need to stop calling ourselves pros when we're not. That's such a small thing that I don't think people realize how much it matters. And once we take care of all this stuff, like literally, I think a lot of people would surprise as to how Call of Duty will spiral out of control into this like super awesome competitive esport, just because of the sheer following it has already. And if we can get everyone else on board with us just by growing up a little, as difficult as that sounds, we'll have this beautiful thing on our hands that I don't think a lot of people realize how easy it is to attain. And that's about it. So thanks for listening to me ramble on for almost 20 minutes here. And I hope you, enjoyed the gameplay I put under this. Don't consider myself to be the most impressive YouTube player by any means, but I needed something to go under all my talking. So thank you. If you enjoyed what I have to say, follow me on Twitter or something. And just make up, more important than following me on Twitter or anything, because you like what I say. Literally just take it to heart and make a COD lifestyle out of it, if you know what I mean. But alright, thank you.